All right, Shalom. Call Lo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rachakodash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled bird scattered to the four corners and speaking in different tongues, unto you we say Shalom. All right. This is gonna be a lesson, just kind of going into the high level witchcraft of what Esau is doing, with this with all these different variants. Okay. Now, there's this new variant, all right, which as you see here, it's called the Lambda variant. All right. And through the spirit, I saw the brother Bakar Math, he had posted, let me see if I can actually get it, the image itself. Okay, now this image is related to the Delta variant, but through the spirit, I said, wait till they start pushing the Lambda variant. They're going to say the jab ain't effective anymore and you got to get that chip. All right, because ultimately they say that the Delta variant reduces the effectiveness of the jab down to 64%. Okay, so with these new variants, ultimately, they're trying to do what they're supposed to do by way of that witchcraft and that jab, and I'm going to get into it because through the spirit, the Lord, like an hour, I would say an hour and a half after I commented this, which was 2 hours ago. So about 30 minutes ago, he put on my spirit to go get the etymology for Lambda. All right. So, I went and checked it. All right. And ultimately it goes back to what? The 12th letter of our alphabet, okay? A Greek letter name, Lambda, from a Semitic source akin to the Hebrew Lamed, all right? Now, it also means the craniometric point, all right, at the junction of the sagittal and lambdoid sutures of the skull. So basically, Lambda is also referred to as how they basically measure your skull, all right? Now, we're not going to get too deep, okay, but just to show you, all right, the high level witchcraft of what Esau is doing. Okay, so here's Lamed in the American English, and it also goes back to a literal sense, a whip. Okay, so the whip literally means to flap violently. All right, but not only that, it also goes into snake. All right, that serpent. Okay, and then not only that, it also says, I think this was the word vacillate. Okay, let me see if that's the one that I wanted. Here we go. All right, confusion, to waver between two opinions or courses. Okay, to be undecided, to sway in a rising and falling and wave-like pattern. All right, and that's literally, Lambda is actually going into brain waves. Okay, and it was spiritual because, right here, it also, I'm at Wikipedia, and it goes to different symbology and it's going to the Lacedaemonians, that it was used as a shield pattern, which is spiritual, because they were representative of the 12, if you will, so I found that to be interesting. But ultimately, any wavelength is commonly designated by the Greek letter Lambda. Okay, and just doing some more research into this, all right, I found out that ultimately Lambda is a high frequency brainwave for meditators. Okay, so ultimately, Esau being in the high level witchcraft and sorcery that he's in, all right, he puts it out there. Okay, well, this variant is going to be Lambda. Okay, and not only does that represent certain things, all right, just by way of the symbology or the letters and things of that nature, but by way of the words attached to it, and different etymologies, it all goes to, like we may mention the whip, that confusion, indecision. All right. And then you go into how, they have discussed Lambda in brainwaves and how it's for advanced meditators. It's like a higher sense of consciousness for meditation. All right. Now, when you go to the word of meditation, all right, it literally means, thinking over, okay, to meditate, to reflect, all right, continuous calm. But really, the Latin verb in the strongest sense means to plan, devise, practice, or rehearse, okay? And the definitions also go into the same thing: contemplation or musing on a subject of series of subjects of a deep nature. All right. And that's what Esau is trying to do. All right. He is trying to get your mind ultimately fully inclined, to what he desires for you to do, if you make sense. All right. And when you go to that word enchant, all right, because in Genesis, all right, that word serpent goes to enchanter. All right. The etymology also means to delight in high degree, all right, or to fascinate, all right, and that's the same thing. Meditation is is something that happens, at a high degree, and as they would say, you find delight in a high degree when you're meditating, okay, and also, as it says here in Cantare, to enchant or fix a spell upon. All right, so those meditations on those left-hand side is really to fix a spell upon you, and again, it's all going back to Lambda, which he named it. All right, and not only that I found interesting, I know I'm kind of moving, through this, but, just to make the points, because ultimately, when you're, getting into, different things like this, you don't want to get too far, into the rabbit's hole, if you will, so that's why I'm just kind of, quickly going through it, to touch the essential topics, because they're all tied together, Now, when you go to that scripture, Luke 22:31, all right, and you actually go to the word for sift, all right, it literally means obviously a sieve, all right, but it also means to riddle, okay? And again, going to that enchanter, that serpent, when you actually go to the etymology of riddle, all right, I can actually just use this one, okay? Riddle in the etymology itself means to perforate with many holes, all right? And of course, it also means sift, that sieve, okay? So ultimately what's happening is, these riddles, these manipulations, of frequencies, basically, and what he's trying to do by putting that lambda vibration out there, by, doing what he's doing, with the jab, and his nanotechnology and those nanoparticles, inside of that as well, he's perforating the mind with many holes. All right. So, we've seen him do it, with his philosophies, his ideologies, unrighteous decrees, all of these different things. Okay, but now he's heightening up his witchcraft. All right, and basically you could kind of put the pieces together to see how, these people are being perforated with many holes. All right, they're being sifted, but they're also being tapped into, if you will. All right, and again, that's what an enchanter does, man. All right, an enchanter bewitches you. All right, that's to riddle. They charm you, they cast a spell. All right, that they you are you're fixed upon, basically enchantments. All right, and the enchantment, it also was to sing, spell, enchantment, or a song, and a riddle is a form of a song, so it all goes full circle, but I wanted to get it, just through the spirit, because of the fact that, it was just like the spirit put it on me, like, wow, like look into what that word means. And then when you realize that the origin itself, is tied to our alphabet, but then when you break certain things down, you realize how high level Esau, that witchcraft and sorcery, he put things all in there, so, the lambda, being certain brain waves, him designed to sift you, that sift going back to riddle, which is a form of song and all that, but also it actually means to sift, and tying that in, with those spells, that enchanter going back to Genesis, which is the root word of that word serpent, what I'm saying? So you see how high level, this devil really, is doing things, man. All right. And just one more real quick. Okay. I'm not sure if this was the actual article. There was something else related to basically, how Lambda brainwaves, are at a higher frequency, not the one that I already showed you. But if I can't get it, the point is made. Okay, this is what I wanted to get as well. All right, because not only the American English, Lamed, but even down to the wording of how it's used. That's witchcraft. In the sorcery, you have witch, like the witch and a broom, or like witch, like which one. You have right, like a right turn, and then you have RITE, like a rite, like a ritual rite. So it's the same thing with these wordings. Esau, especially increasing his witchcraft and sorcery now, knowing that he has but a short time. This Lambda, going back to Lamed, literally also means like lamed. All right. So here's a few, just sentences. Perhaps something in her mind had been lamed at that time. All right. Either of them, if faced with a lamed horse. Okay. The distances at Yaramera, and even inside the house, were daunting to a lamed man. All right. Basically going into elements. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this devil is trying to do, man. He's doing all types of high level, enchantment still, even to this day, and that's why, scripture says, scripture tells us so many things about keeping our mind. We have not been given the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. Use this mind, that is in me, but that was of Yahweh Shai, being of the same mind, being renewed in the spirit of your mind. All right. And ultimately, Isaiah 14, with Esau being in that spirit, of trying to be like the Most High and sift you away and, do all of this witchcraft and sorcery, to try to reverse the cycle of things, if you will, ultimately he will do, anything that's needed, to achieve that goal, man. So it was just through the spirit, I wanted to grab that because I'm like, wow, like that's kind of, and again, not to get too deep, but, we understand, Esau's witchcraft and sorcery, and it was just through the spirit, it was, like I said, like an hour and a half after the comment, I wasn't even thinking about it. And he dropped it in my spirit. Well, go look at the etymology, and then go look at, how Lambda waves are a higher sense of meditation and how, riddles and sifting and the enchanting and those spells, the song, what I'm saying? So, it's high level, witchcraft going on with this thing, man, through the spirit, but just a few precepts real quick. All right. Just to kind of close it off. All right. Proverbs 21 and 27, the sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? All right. And again, that's that witchcraft, sorcery, those enchantments, being very calculated, on high level on the left hand side, Ezekiel 23:28. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, I will deliver thee into the hand of them whom thou hatest, into the hand of them from whom thy mind is alienated. All right. So, really, we understand, parabolic, dark sayings, how multifaceted scriptures can be, but at the end of the day, minds are being messed with, man. Minds are being messed with, not only, again, with those philosophies and all that, but even, with his wording still, going to that right, which, like he's still doing high level witchcraft, even, in the midst of all of this push for the chip, Titus 1 and 15, and of course I could get more of this, but the point, unto the pure, all things are pure, right? So, for us, starting with the elders and apostles, great millstone on down, and those of you with like-minded doctrine, following after the elders and apostles. All right. We understand, we're mindful, of what we, how we operate, what we do, all of these things, on the right hand side. All right. But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, right? So that's why we see, high level witchcraft and sorcery being played, just by the variance that he's naming these things, the calculated decisions and decrees that we see in the news, and that he's planning out even more, but even their mind and conscience is defiled, right? And what does he want from you? He wants your mind to be defiled as well, all right? But ultimately, to have control over that mind, all right? And just real quick, in closing, that's why it's beautiful, that we have been renewed, all right? And that was just it was kind of high level in a sense, because it's just like, wow, like, when you kind of connect certain dots spiritually, and the Lord drops it on you, it's just like, damn, like, this guy really is a high level sorcerer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just the vibration of putting it out there, speaking it, having other people speak on it, reporting it. That's not even, the acts that he does behind closed doors, those sacrifices and rites and rituals that he does, on the left hand side. This is just, touching the surface level on how he pushes that vibration out. And it all goes back to the enchantment, which we understand, those songs, riddles, sifting, people, but when you see, when you're able to connect certain dots, when the Lord shows you certain things and how, they all connect, it's like, damn, it's, we fighting, matter of fact, I'll get that through the spirit, against powers, man, against principalities, and that's really what it is, man. All right. Ephesians chapter 6, all right, verse 12. I'll start at verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, and that's, being in the spirit, praying and fasting, what I'm saying? Like keeping ourselves girded, put on the whole armor of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. All right. And just real quick through the spirit, let me just get that. All right. Just to see, what it says, through the spirit, since, the Lord kind of had me touch on a few. They're beautiful. See, even better. So those wiles being cunning arts, deceit, craft, trickery, to lie in wait, and again, going back to that enchanter, the root word, doesn't have too much with, after, behind, always lurking in the shadows, so nonetheless, the point being made, bringing it full circle, man. But verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. All right. And this is an example of it, that Lambda, different little things tied into it, and just pushing that, on a low level, because that's just the surface. You don't know, how much more, that wickedness, we have ideas and, but the point being made, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, above all taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So yeah, brothers, that was the point, man. I found that very just eye-opening, through the spirit. The Lord had me just kind of, go back and touch on it. So Lord's will, you was edified, man. We almost home. This devil is increasing, in his wickedness, and he knows his time is up, man. So he has to pull out, all the stops. He has to push out, even more vibrations of those enchantments and riddles and, those songs to cast that spell, man. So Lord's will, you was edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rekach Chodash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace, love, and